to reach their full growth, strength, and maturity. The thoroughbred isn't fully grown until age 4 or 5, and today we'll see some of the best mature horses in the world. We'll see the ones who run on grass, and also those who run on the more familiar American dirt surface. At luxurious Arlington Park in Chicago, we'll see this year's running of the Arlington Million. It was the first $1 million race, and again today has attracted a top field from the U.S. and Europe. The probable favorite is from California. His name, Tight Spot. Possibly his top challenger is another California horse, and his name is It's All Greek to Me, the champion turf horse of 1990. At Monmouth Park, near the Atlantic Ocean in New Jersey, we'll see the Eddie Read Handicap, another in the successful new American Championship Racing Series. With just 2 races left, Farm Away trails Festine by 7 points. Festine is being rested for the Woodward, the final race in the series. But Farm Away is here, and a victory will give him the lead. He'll be tested by Marquetry, winner of the Hollywood Gold Cup and the New England Classic races in the series. It'll be an afternoon of exciting racing on ABC Sports, featuring the best of the mature horses, grown-ups, if you will, or the full-blooming flowers of the racing world. And we begin our story today at Monmouth Park as we continue our coverage of the American Championship Racing Series. Today's event, the Eddie Read Handicap. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay at Monmouth Park, and as we celebrate this last big weekend of the summer, it's already time to think about the champions of 1991. Who'll win the World Series, for example? And who will be the horse of the year? Well, we'll take a step toward an answer to that question as we bring you 2 horse races with total purses of $1.5 million. Now, from Chicago, you'll see the Arlington Million for the top grass horses. And from here, the Eddie Read Handicap on dirt. Another stop, as I said, in the American Championship Racing Series. Now, the favorite here is Farm Away, trained by Wayne Lucas, ridden by Hall of Fame jockey Chris McCarron. We'll be back for that race, but right now, let's go to Arlington Park and my colleague, Jack Whitaker. Jack?
That is the handsome profile of one of the world's great cities, shimmering on the shores of Lake Michigan on this first glorious day of September. Chicago, former hog butcher of the world, home of the Cubs and the Bears, the Bulls and the Sox. And 25 miles northwest of downtown, the world's most shiny and up-to-date racetrack, the Arlington International Racecourse. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 11th running of the Arlington Million. This is a race for 3-year-olds and up. At weight for age, that means the older you are, the more weight you carry. It's at 1.25 miles, and it's on grass. The Arlington Million was our first $1 million race, and its tradition grows richer. What a marvelous setting it is for international competition, which is what we have today. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to welcome to our ABC telecast a man who brings international distinction to his marvelous calls in Southern California, Trevor Denman. Welcome to the Arlington Million.
Thank you, Jack. There are just a handful of names around the world that are internationally recognizable. England has their Epsom Derby. In France, it would be the Arc de Triomphe. Australia has the Melbourne Cup. And of course, right here in America, it would be the Kentucky Derby. But over the last decade, you can add the name the Arlington Million to that illustrious list. The original concept of the Arlington Million was to attract foreign competition, and how successful that's been. Each and every year, we've had a strong contingent of foreign horses coming to Arlington to win that million.
Thank you, Trevor, and here's how the field shapes up at the moment. Here are the odds on the right, the jockeys underneath the horse's name. We have Cartagena, who is a filly, at 5-1, and It's All Greek to Me at 4-1. The favorite now has become Tight Spot, which was the early morning favorite, but just now has become that here at the track. And 3-1 for Falago, who would be a very interesting race here. And let's look at some of the contenders, Trevor.
Tight Spot, a powerful, muscular colt. He's not flashy, but very professional. Good disposition, and that helps him relax on the lead. Watch him break from the outside gate. Natural speed. He's on the lead immediately.
I think if Tight Spot gets an easy lead today, I think he'll handle it pretty good. If he doesn't get an easy lead, well, I think he can come from off the pace.
Ron McAnally trained John Henry to 2 Arlington Million wins. John Henry was much like Tight Spot in attitude. Not flashy, but he won races. The grey, It's All Greek to Me. Not a big horse, but what he lacks in size, he more than makes up for in heart. Watch him win here, the Alcorn Stakes at Keeneland. He wasn't particularly fond of the going, but just look at him pin those ears back, and nobody's going to go by It's All Greek to Me. Canadian champion is Vestia, the richest horse in the race with earnings of more than $2.7 million. He's almost unbeatable in Canada. He's English-born trainer. Roger Atfield is 4-time champion trainer in Canada, and that's a record. That comes of wins like this in the Eclipse Handicap. Falago, what a pretty looking horse he is. He's also a long horse, and that allows him to cover a lot of ground. He's trained by the inimitable Bobby Frankel. Here's Falago winning the Arlington Handicap. Look at him stretch his neck out, a long stride. He's really loving it out here, and he's going to be very tough to beat this afternoon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there are some of the contenders here in this 11th running of the Arlington Million. We're moments away from post time, and we'll be right back. And now to Trevor Denham for the start of the race.
Thank you, Jack. Half the field's gone in already. There's It's All Greek to Me. He looked beautiful in the post parade at It's All Greek to Me. He's loaded in. The favorite tight spot you can see in the white cap going in there under Lafitte Penkai. He was outstanding. If you had to make a pick in the post parade, it would definitely be tight spot. He's a world's record holder at 1 mile and 1/8 at Hollywood Park, unbeaten in 7 tries on the turf. And let's take a look at the final odds as we take a look at them right here. And it is Tight Spot, who is the 9-5 favorite. Al Hanib, the Argentinian, has just gone in. Now, he's a very headstrong horse, is Al Hanib, but he is brilliant. It's going to be a tough ride for jockey Kent DeSormo. There's Falago going in, one from the outside, and the big, big long shot from England. 100, just a one-time winner going in. He's loaded in, and it looks like he's set for a start. Field for the Arlington Million now sent on their way. And going to the early lead is Julie Crone with Chenin Blanc. On the outside of her, Tight Spot. Came out a little awkward in the white cap, and Tight Spot running up alongside of Chenin Blanc, who's going to carry Tight Spot wide. Down at the rail, the Canadian champion is Vestia, is smartly placed in 3rd. And here's the filly, Cartagena, in the green colours in 4th down at the rail. They're going very, very slow early on. And behind that, we have Al Hanib and It's All Greek to Me. The 2 stable companions are 5 lengths off the leaders. Then it's Hundra and Dr. Root. Falago in the red colours is back second last, and he's 8 lengths off them. And the long shot, Sagasa's Choice is last, 15 lengths off the lead. They head towards the 3/4 pole, and Julie Crone has the long shot. Chenin Blanc setting the pace. But there's Lafitte Penkai in the white cap on Tight Spot, just waiting to pounce on that leader when he's good and ready up there. His Vestia is scraping paint in 3rd. Cartagena is going along comfortably enough in 4th position, 5 lengths off the leaders. Kent DeSormo has Al Hanib in 5th position. They've got 7 lengths to make up. Another 2 back to It's All Greek to Me and Dr. Roots. Pat Valenzuela and Falago in the red colours will start to move into the screen on the outside. They're about 10 lengths off the lead as they pass the half-mile pole. And then it's Sagasa's Choice and Hundra, the 2 long shots trailing the Million field. 3/8 of a mile left to go. Still the long shot. Chenin Blanc taking them along. Tight Spot is right there in 2nd. Cartagena, the filly, running a good one in 3rd. Is Vestia on the outside of her. Then Al Hanib and on the outside, Falago. It's All Greek to Me, not firing, he's last. They come to the top of the lane, and now the running is really going to start in the Million. Chenin Blanc at the rail. Lafitte Penkai is starting to niggle a Tight Spot in the white cap now. And here comes Tight Spot to take on Chenin Blanc. At the rail, Cartagena, the South American, Al Hanib in the orange colours. He's Vestia there, but it's down to Tight Spot, Al Hanib and Chenin Blanc. Tight Spot between horses and Lafitte Penkai. Here's Cartagena coming at the rail. Cartagena, Tight Spot, Al Hanib, Tight Spot, Al Hanib at the wire. Tight Spot has won the Million by a head to Al Hanib and Cartagena. What a run from Chenin Blanc in 4th. Dr. Roots came running on late, and then came his Vestia. It's All Greek to Me just didn't run today, and then it was Sagasa's Choice. A very disappointing Falago was second last, and as expected, the long shot, Hundra Land Rast. And there's Ron McAnally and family right now, and Tight Spot will remain unbeaten. He's never been beaten on the turf. He's 8 for 8, and Lafitte Penkai, he might be now getting on in age as far as jockeys are concerned. He's in his middle 40s, but I want to tell you, he probably still is the greatest jockey in the world, and I would say categorically the greatest jockey when it comes to a photo finish like that. There is still no number in the board, but it looked like Tight Spot won it. Al Hanib a head back second, and what a run from Cartagena, the Irish bred filly. She was right there at the rail, beaten about a neck in third position. The fractions there, they went the half in 47 and 3, 1:11 and 1 for the 3/4, and the final time a very respectable 1:59 and 2/5. Jack?
All right, Trevor, thank you very much. There you're looking at Tight Spot. He is now 8 for 8. If this is unofficial results, of course, and we'll have the official results for you in a moment. But right now, we're going to send you back to Jim McKay at Monmouth.
Exciting a race here. Well, Jack, I hope we have as exciting a race here as you had at Arlington Park in Chicago, and it should be a field of 8 in the Island Handicap. The favorite should be Farm Away, but the odds are looking a little funny at the moment. That race still coming up as we look at the parterre boxes, one of the many beautiful things here. We'll be going back to Arlington for the official, and then here for our race.
All right, Tight Spots, number 7, unofficial winner here, and a rousing finish. It's 11th Arlington Million, ridden by Lafitte Pincay Jr., and if it holds up, of course, his second win here, Ron McAnally, the trainer's third. Unofficial Tight Spot, Alaneve from Argentina, and Cartagena, the filly, bred in Ireland and raced in France, and she had a little trouble on the rail. Here is the stretch run here, and it gets very, very crowded. Julie Crone on Chenin Blanc, a 30-to-1 shot, almost stole the whole thing. She's still on the lead here, but here come from behind boys, going to make it very tough on everybody. Against the rail there in the green is Cartagena. And what a cavalry charge it is. So unofficially, we have Tight Spot first, and Ron McAnally, the winning trainer, very happy at the moment, of course, with Alaneve second and Cartagena, the filly, in third. And now it is official. Tight Spot, Alaneve and Cartagena. Tight Spot paying $560, $420 and $3. Alaneve paying $680, $480, and Cartagena paying $420. And of course, this makes Tight Spot's record on grass perfect, 8 for 8, and certainly gives him a real headlock on Turf Horse of the Year. Lafitte Pincay Jr. And Trevor, we thought this was going to be a rouser, didn't we?
Well, what a race that one was. I mean, that could have gone any way right down to the last few jumps. Tight Spot, I really believe Lafitte Pincay carried the day for him. Great ride by Kent Tasoma, though. He settled Alaneve down, and we told you before the race, Alaneve is a headstrong individual. Terrific ride from Kent. And down at the rail, Cartagena, she really finished gamely, didn't she?
Very much so. I wonder if she'd had any more room, if the outlet come might have been a little different. Look at the photo, folks. That's crowded, isn't it?
That's about as close as you get to a dead heat you're going to get. And I tell you what, a great run from those two long shots as well. Dr. Root and Chenin Blanc, who went with Tight Spot the whole way. And that's where you've got to give Tight Spot credit. He was sat in second. He relaxed beautifully. The critics said he had to be on the front. He doesn't have to be on the front.
He usually goes to the lead, but Ron had said that he could relax. Here's the official results, and we'll return. We're going to go first to Monmouth, but we'll return after this commercial message and a word from our local station.
And now we return to Monmouth Park, not far from the beautiful sea and the crowded beaches of the Jersey Shore. As a matter of fact, it's a great day to end the summer. Temperature just around 70 degrees, a nice ocean breeze blowing. Monmouth is always a relaxing place, but today it's exciting also as we make another stop in the American Championship Racing Series. We have reached the penultimate stop, actually, the next to last, that is, in the new series for older horses. It's been a smashing success so far. Looks as if the overall championship and the $750,000 that goes to the winner with it will go down to the final race, the Woodward at Belmont on September 15th, and we'll be there for that one, too. Now, we have an international flavor here today, as well as at Arlington Park. There's an English race 5-year-old named Green Line Express making a rare American start, and an Irish-born horse, Black Tie Affair, whose most recent win was in Nebraska. But most people see this as a great test for Farm Away. Now, as you can see, he is second to Festine in this series. Festine isn't here, so a victory for Farm Away will give him the lead, and his chief challenger on the premises here is Marquetry. Now let's take a look at the specifics of the Island Handicap. For 1991, the purses, we said, $500,000. The distance, 1.1 1/8. That's 1/8 of a mile shorter than the classic Kentucky Derby distance. You saw that the track was fast and the temperature perfect. Chief Honcho being held at 3-1. The odds are not as expected here. Chief Honcho at 3-1, Great Norman at 16-1, Roanoke at 6-1, and Farm Away expected to be the favorite of surprising 5-1. Instead of which we have Marquetry, who's won 3 in a row, as the favorite at 3-2. Silver Survivor at 25-1. Black Tie Affair with considerable support at 9-2. And Green Line Express at 50-1. That's very, very interesting odds board. I think perhaps the most interesting development of this series so far has been its domination by horses trained and raised primarily in Southern California. Why has that happened? Let's consider the question. Southern California is a place that seems particularly hospitable to young starlets and older horses. The starlets for the obvious reasons. The older horses, well, I don't know exactly why, but the really big races there have always been for the 4-year-olds and up. The Santa Anita Handicap, the Hollywood Gold Cup, the Stroop Series, and all those races that begin with sand. Trainers out there seem to have the patience and skill to nurse horses into their mature years and to make older foreign imports feel at home. So it was not surprising that the winner of this year's Santa Anita Handicap was California trained. His name is Farm Away. Farm Away has a famous trainer, Wayne Lucas, but the horse is the star of the stable because that's the way his owner wants it. George Bunn is a pleasant but self-effacing millionaire who stays in the background. Talk about the horse, says the man who invented the Bun-O-Matic coffee maker. And at the finish of the big cap, everyone was talking about Farm Away. But at Oak Lawn Park in Arkansas, Farm Away ran into an off-track and an Argentine import named Festine. Festine won the race impressively, but was the off-track responsible? Well, Farm Away was back in form for the Pimlico Special and scored a solid victory to take the lead in the American Championship Racing Series. Trainer Lucas smiled and said, "We'll dance every dance that we can in this series, but the road hasn't been easy." There are so many good older horses coming out of California and fanning out across the nation. Marquetry and Roanoke and Farm Away all are here today. Festine, who still leads the series, and Best Pal, a 3-year-old, are waiting in the wings. Consider Marquetry, an import from England. As a long shot in the $1 million Hollywood Gold Cup, this protege of trainer Bobby Frankel suddenly scrambled the picture in the series. And they asked Wayne Lucas, is Farm Away over the top?
I don't think he's over the top. Anytime you take a horse and ship him around the country, and the series was designed to expose these horses to all regions, but we started out in the first one, and when you start going from barn to barn, changing water, feed, and so forth, this is always a telling thing on a horse. The weight loss is a factor and so forth. The other thing is when you meet that head-to-head competition that's so tough, you're bound to leave a little something on the field.
Marquetry didn't leave anything on the field at Hollywood. He won again, and trainer Frankel was raking in the money.
And it's not the idea of how much money I'm going to make and stuff. It's like points on the board, you know. You're just trying to get a lot of points on the board and see where you end up at the end of the year as far as the standings and see who got the most points.
Given the fact that I thought we were having probably the best year of all the horses that participated in the series, we're in probably a catch-up position right now in that we've slipped a little bit, and the scoring system is set up so that you are rewarded a lot for second and third. So I think that we're in a position where in the last 2 it may get down to the last 1.
Fair or unfair, the American Championship Racing Series has generated more interest in the older horses than they've had in years. Another look at the standings with Festine leading Farm Away by 7. Again today, the Californians come east in search of points and money. It's the California Gold Rush in reverse. Well, that it is, and we have a slight change in the odds now. Farm Away, expected to be the favorite, was at 5-1. He's now dropped down to 9-2, we are told. And here are the horses on parade. Number 1 is Chief Honcho. He's been playing second fiddle to In Excess, but In Excess isn't here today, and many people give the Chief a chance. Now, Great Norman is familiar with this track. He's had 2 recent second-place finishes here. Gets an 8-pound break in the weights today. Great Norman. Roanoke has those California credentials. A win at Hollywood in June. California jockey Eddie Delahousse on his back. California trainer Neil Drysdale conditions him. And now, let's take a look at Farm Away. He's earned more than $1.5 million this year, but he's been beaten in his last 3 races, and the bettors here must be wondering if he's a tired horse. Marquetry, on the other hand, has been on a roll. Bobby Frankel's colt is looking for his 3rd in a row in the series, and he still gets a 3-pound weight advantage from Farm Away. Silver Survivor is just that. This is the horse who once was almost accidentally left the star. Well, he survives, but he hasn't won since last March down in New Orleans. Black Tie Affair, an interesting horse. He's won 3 in a row in Kentucky, Michigan, and Nebraska, and now he brings his road show to New Jersey. With Pat Day on his back, he has a chance. And it's welcome back to America for Green Line Express. This is Mohammed Fustak's horse. He was born in Kentucky, but he's done almost all of his racing in Europe. Now, having said that, and here's Charles E. Canty. Charlesy, still the central figure out here, regardless of the odds, and win or lose, is Farm Away.
And the central issue with Farm Away is whether or not at this point in the season he is a tired horse. As you said, Farm Away is making his 7th appearance in the series. He's crossed the country 3 times, and he's raced at a half a dozen different tracks. Plus, he's a speed horse, so he uses himself every step of the way in every single race. That he's been the beaten favorite in his last 3 starts casts a lot of legitimate doubt. But all this may be deceiving. He's had valid excuses in all 4 of his losses this year. He's been freshened, and he's back at his best distance. And under the handicap conditions, he gives much less weight, only 3 pounds, to his nemesis Marquetry. So this is a pivotal race for Farm Away today. And Jim, in spite of the critics, and in spite of a little dodgy warming up in the post-parade, I'll stick with Farm Away to rebound and turn the tables.
Okay, well, we're going to see. You know, we said that this is a very relaxing place. It is for owners, trainers, and especially for the jockeys.
The call to the post doesn't summon every jockey for every race, but sitting one out is a pleasure at the Monmouth Park Jockeys Room. Located behind the clubhouse, it's an ideal facility to relax between races. And during the course of a long afternoon, the riders can shed their boots for bathing suits or basketballs.
The Cadillac.
Marquetry is still the favorite at 9-5, but Farm Away has now dropped to 5-2 at his second choice. Now, as we near post time, we're going to check in with Dave Johnson, who, of course, will be calling the race for us today. First, however, Dave's thoughts on some of the contenders.
Well, in addition to Marquetry and Farm Away, we have an interesting and speedy collection of thoroughbreds, including Silver Survivor, a 5-year-old who has started an unbelievable 55 times in his career, and Green Line Express, who's never raced on a dirt track, and a newcomer to the series, Black Tie Affair. Let's take a look at the major contenders. Black Tie Affair hasn't seen a horse in front of him in 3 months. He won his last 3 by sprinting to the lead and never looking back. Have you ever seen a winner make it look this easy? This is no workout, but this was no real race either. However, media critics have been quick to point out that this Irish bred has not faced any major competition in his last 3 starts.
A lot of people says, well, there was nobody there. Well, that's tough, there was nobody there, but I was there. I got the money. And all these guys that say there was nobody there, they'd love to be there, too.
Although named for a city in Virginia, Roanoke is from Kentucky, but won his first race here in New Jersey. He's had bad luck throughout his career, but was sent to the West Coast and trainer Neil Drysdale this spring. Things got better. In the Californian, Eddie Delahousie motored the 4-year-old from last to first, passing Marquetry on the way to the winner's circle. And just like fine wine, Great Norman has gotten better with age. He's a versatile animal who pays his way on turf or dirt. And he pulled the shocker of the fall season last year when he caught a sloppy surface for the Grade 1 Meadowlands Cup and rambled home while Meadowlands fans gasped at the price on the tote board, 181 to 1. Green Line Express is the biggest question mark in the field. He's raced 16 times in 3 seasons, every one of them a turf race. And when he won the Silver Trophy, he carried 135 pounds that day, which should make today's 112-pound assignment feel like a feather. But watch out for Chief Honcho, who's gotten good, very good this summer. And members of his fan club have rallied to his cause not because of victories, but because of the way he's finished second to In Excess twice. In Excess is not here today.
And so that's the background, remaining the race. There's the starting gate. They'll be moving in very, very soon for the Island Handicap. Stay with us. Farm Away as joint favorites at 2-1, however, in actuality, in the win pool, $2,000 more has been bet on Marquetry. Time now to go up to Dave Johnson for the call of the race. Dave?
This race has everything. A lot of early speed. Look for Black Tie Affair from the far outside, Marquetry and Green Line Express to go to the lead. Farm Away just off the 3 leaders perhaps to the first turn. At the back of the pack will be the late closers, Roanoke and Silver Survivor. Speed has been, well, this has been a speed favoring track this summer, but not today. Speed has not been holding. The middle moves and the big sweeping moves have been the key. They're all in line. We're ready for the start. And they're off. On the outside, Black Tie Affair, middle of the racetrack, Green Line Express. Farm Away is right there third. Toward the inside, Great Normand is fourth, and Market Tree just behind the early leaders. Now past the stands for the first time. And it looks like a speed duel on the front end as Green Line Express on the outside battles with Black Tie Affair. Those two inseparable around the clubhouse turn. Market Tree is in the middle of the racetrack. Farm Away is right there. Great Normand saves ground fifth along the inside. Then a gap of 3 in Silver Survivor, followed by Chief Huncho, and Roanoke is last at the back of the pack, some 15 lengths off the leader. As they move on to the backstretch, the first quarter in a quick 22-2, and that's faster than Spendabuck's first quarter when he set the track and stakes record. Black Tie Affair in front, Green Line Express second, Farm Away on the outside, right there third, and Great Normand, the long shot, saving ground and inching up a closer fourth. Then a gap of 4 lengths, and Market Tree is fifth at this point. Chief Huncho is now sixth along the inside. Then Roanoke, and at the back of the pack, the gray horse, Silver Survivor. The half in 46-2. They're still faster than Spendabuck's record, and they're tightly packed on the front end. Farm Away on the outside makes a move. Along the inside, that's Black Tie Affair, Great Normand right behind the leaders, followed by Market Tree. A quarter of a mile to go, and Farm Away on the outside takes command. Middle of the racetrack, Black Tie Affair is hanging tough in the second spot. Great Normand, the long shot on the inside, is third. Market Tree is behind horses, and on the outside, Chief Huncho. And down the stretch they come. Farm Away digging in on the outside. Black Tie Affair coming back again at the rail. Black Tie Affair with Pat Day on the inside. Wins it by a hair. Farm Away gets the place spot, and Chief Huncho is third. And the final time, 1 minute, 47 4/5 seconds, tying Ali Shiva's time, the 5th fastest Island in history.
And so unofficially, and there you see the final time, 1:47 4. Black Tie Affair has won his 4th consecutive race. His last 9 races have each come on a different racetrack. 9 different racetracks. There is owner Jeff Sullivan, 44 years old. He's an automobile dealer. There's the trainer Ernie Poulos, 65 years old. He's never been to Monmouth Park in his life until this week. And you heard him say they'd all like to have been there when he was allegedly beating nothing. Well, he's beaten the good ones today. Pat Day on his back, and that didn't hurt at all, Charlesy.
Guess who?
And there is Black Tie Affair, still unofficial. His trainer normally wears a black tie. I didn't notice in that picture he was. Always wears a black tie to his races. There you saw the unofficial order. And here is Farm Away. Farm Away gets 7 points and now is tied for the lead in the American Championship Racing Series with Festine. Festine, remember, not here today. 1 race to go. 2 horses tied for the lead. That will be the Woodward Stakes at Belmont Park 2 weeks from today on September 15th, and we'll be there for an hour special on that one. So this series is going just as far as it can go. There is Great Normand, who gave a very good account of himself today, the local horse. There is a steward's inquiry, so hold everything. An inquiry is different from an objection, remember. Normally the inquiry comes from the stewards. That indicates they saw something that bothered them, not simply that a jockey is objecting to what another horse did. So stand by, hold all tickets, as they say. We'll be back with those official results and more of our coverage of the Island Handicap after our regular feature on what's new in the world of sports, science, and technology.
1,100-pound animals thundering down the stretch on pencil-thin legs. But when a horse breaks down on the track, his career's not necessarily over. Now, intricate surgery can be performed to save the horses for breeding or even to race again.
A lot of these techniques are well-established methods of what's called internal fixation, as well as which is when you use plates, screws, and different types of implants to hold the broken bones together until they have a chance to heal. The techniques involved in doing it have been improving over the years. That's, resulted in greater success in treating many of these fractures. And then there's also a great amount of experience with external skeletal fixation, which is a method of dealing with injuries where the skin's open and so forth, as well as a fracture.
While surgery can repair the injured leg, a serious problem with equine medicine has always been the horse's recovery. Here at the Penn Veterinary School, horses are lowered into a raft and placed in a large pool of warm water, allowing them to revive from anesthesia without risking further damage to the legs. Once the horse is fully awakened and can safely stand on his own, he can begin his gradual return to activity. Brought to you by AT&T.
Winner, but there is a steward's inquiry. The stewards thought they might have seen something in the stretch. There is also an objection that has been lodged by the jockey of Farm Away, Chris McCarron, against the unofficial winner, Black Tie Affair, and Pat Day. Now, Charles, down with Wayne Lucas and Chris McCarron.
Well, I've got both of the principals involved here. Now it's getting to be a group here. We've got Wayne Lucas, the trainer. We've got Chris McCarron, the rider, and also Pat Day just stepping out of the picture here. Wayne, you noticed first. What did you say?
About mid-stretch, I thought that Pat came out a little bit. You can't tell without watching a replay in the camera, but I knew that there was a brush or a bump there, and I thought it broke her momentum a little bit. And then after watching it on the replay, you can see that it's going to come right here a little bit. Just knocked him off track.
Chris, there you are in the yellow hat coming towards us. Now, Pat Day aboard Black Tie Affair, and the red hat comes to you. Did he bother you?
He bothered my horse, yeah. His horse, Pat, like Pat said, when he switched and hit his horse left-handed, he did get away from the stick a little bit. There was contact. It's up to the stewards to determine how severe it was.
Pat, would you like to defend yourself while you're here?
Well, we did come out and brush, but to be honest with you, Chris had every opportunity from the head of the stretch in Farm Away. They made a run at us and couldn't get by us. I personally, I don't think the little brush, I don't think had that much effect on the outcome. I felt like if we went another eighth of a mile, he wasn't going to get by him, you know what I mean? My horse really dug in. He did get away from the left hand just a little bit, and we did brush, but
There's the answer. It stays. You win. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I think, Charles, on these kind of races, though, when you're involved